Welcome to Ripperly, your weekly deep dive where we break down all the wrestling action, we condense it, pull out the key stuff so you can stay totally informed without, spending hours catching up.
That's the idea. And today, we're tackling a really big one. WWE Monday Night Raw, May 26th, 2025, down in Tampa. Episode 1670, I believe.
Yeah, live from Tampa. We've got all the notes, the results, the backstage bits, basically everything boiled down so you get what happened and, more importantly, why it matters, especially with Money in the Bank just around the corner.
So if you're listening because you want the scoop, don't have 3 hours free, this is for you. We're going to hit the highlights, the big developments.
And this Raw was, let's say, jam-packed. We had Money in the Bank qualifiers, big implications for the world tag team titles, the women's intercontinental scene heating up.
Faction shakeups, definitely seeing some movement there. And, well, a return that I don't think anyone saw coming.
Seriously.
Yep.
So the main things we're tracking today, obviously those Money in the Bank spots, huge implications with that briefcase, right?
Absolutely. Championship, anytime, anywhere.
Right.
Then there's the title pictures themselves, the dynamics within groups like Judgment Day,
Yeah.
and, those twists that just make you go, whoa.
Oh, definitely had a couple of those wait what moments. So our mission, pretty straightforward. Figure out the big storylines, the character motivations, especially looking ahead to Money in the Bank. That's the goal here.
Okay, let's dive in then. The show kicked off. Visually, quite impactful.
Yeah, Seth Rollins comes out, but
Yeah.
the key thing, he's flanked by Paul Heyman and Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed. That's a statement.
A huge statement.
Yeah.
Heyman, doing his thing on the mic, introducing them, really hyping up Braun Breaker's power, his lineage.
And he made that comment about Bronson Reed being Rollins' toughest opponent so far. Kind of interesting framing there.
It is.
Yeah.
Almost immediately, the CM Punk chants fired up, as you'd expect.
Of course. And Heyman, total pro, addresses it head on, reminds everyone Punk's not there thanks to Bronson Reed. Just classic Heyman, twisting the knife a bit.
Using the crowd's energy against them. Yeah. Standard villain playbook. Then Rollins grabbed the mic.
Right. Talked about his vision, securing the industry's future through, quote, absolute power. Mentioned his WrestleMania predictions coming true.
But the crowd reaction was fascinating, wasn't
It
it?
really was. They're chanting, you sold out,
Yeah.
because of this new alliance, clearly. But then, seconds later, they're singing his theme song. That conflict is still there.
That dynamic is central to Rollins right now. He's clearly forming this power base, probably to protect his title reign, right? But he still seems to want that crowd connection.
And mentioning Zayn and Punk as obstacles, it sort of explains why he feels he needs this backup.
Exactly. And going from Money in the Bank himself, that's about control, ensuring no one can sneak up on him with that briefcase. It's a power play all around.
Okay, let's shift to the first actual Money in the Bank qualifier, triple threat. Penta, Dragon Lee, Chad Gable.
Fast-paced match, lots of action. Penta gets the win, pinning Gable. Penta Driver finished it, about 10 minutes.
Big win for Penta. Puts another high flyer into that ladder match, which always makes things unpredictable.
But the stuff outside the match was maybe just as important here. The Gable and El Hijo del Vikingo interaction.
Yes. Gable had words with Vikingo, who was in the crowd. Vikingo didn't like it, came back and attacked Gable after the match.
And that feeds directly into their match at Worlds Collide, doesn't it?
Exactly. So you see how they're weaving these stories together. It's not just about who qualifies. Other feuds are developing right there.
It shows how everything's connected. One result impacts another storyline down the line. Keeps you watching.
Okay, next up, a scene in the Judgment Day clubhouse. We see Roxanne Perez, and she's offering chicken nuggets to Dominic Mysterio.
A little bit surreal, yeah. But then Liv Morgan walks in.
Yeah.
And she does not look happy about, well, whatever that was.
No, she looked furious. Raquel Rodriguez was with her. Liv made it clear she's back. She wants in on Money in the Bank.
Immediately changes the Judgment Day dynamic, doesn't it? Finn Balor seemed kind of amused by the whole thing. And Carlito's giving Dom advice about the nuggets. It hints at some, maybe, internal weirdness.
Yeah, weirdness is a good word. Feels like things are shifting in that group. And Liv targeting Money in the Bank right away tells you she's got plans. Big plans.
Her return is a big deal for the women's division. And, it puts another major player in the hunt for that briefcase, or maybe the title itself.
Then we got a singles match, Rusev versus Akira Tozawa. Maxine Dupree was with Tozawa. This was quick.
Very quick, under a minute. Rusev just dominated, locked in the accolade, got the submission.
That kind of squash match, it's purely about making Rusev look like a monster again, right? Re-establishing him.
Absolutely. A dominant, decisive win sends a clear message. but he didn't let go of the hold afterwards.
No, he kept it locked in. That brought Sheamus out to make the save. They had this intense stare down before Rusev finally backed off.
So even in a minute-long match, they plant the seeds for a future feud. Rusev looks dominant. Sheamus looks like the protective veteran. Efficient storytelling.
Yeah, you don't always need 20 minutes. Okay, then a quick lighter moment backstage. Comedians Burt Kreischer and Tom Segura were there.
Right, plug in their specials. Kreischer had that interaction with the War Raiders shouting, "War, war, war," at them.
A little bit of cross-promotion, bringing some outside eyes maybe. Harmless fun.
Exactly. Breaks things up a bit.
Back to the drama. We saw Sami Zayn backstage. Looked pretty down, understandably, after Saturday night's main event.
But Jey Uso was there, his old partner, gave him some words of encouragement before Sami's qualifier later on.
They did their handshake, seemed to genuinely lift Sami's spirits a bit.
That bond between them is still strong, clearly. Even when they're chasing the same things sometimes, that support network matters. It's a nice touch.
Next up, title match. World Tag Team Championship. Triple threat again. The New Day defending against the War Raiders and the Creed brothers.
Chaos. Pure chaos. They were brawling before the bell even rang.
Triple threats for tag titles are always nuts. So much going on. In the end, though, New Day retained. Kofi Kingston got a roll-up pin on Julius Creed.
Smart victory for New Day. Using their experience, maybe, in that chaotic environment to find a way. Still the champs.
Staying with the women, backstage again, Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez ran into damaged CTRL, Io Sky, and Kairi Sane.
And Liv was not holding back. Basically told them their time was up. Said she was gunning for Money in the Bank.
And specifically said she wanted to cash in on Io Sky. Called her shot.
Bold move. And Kairi Sane, protective of Io, she stepped right up. Didn't like Liv's tone at all.
Nope. Kairi challenged Liv to a match right then and there. Liv accepted immediately.
So, boom. Instant conflict, direct result of that backstage talk. Sets up a match for later, builds attention for Money in the Bank and the women's world title picture. Effective.
Then out came the World Heavyweight Champion, Jey Uso, doing his entrance through the crowd, fans going wild.
But he gets interrupted by Gunther, the ring general himself.
Gunther starts off almost respectful, congratulating Jey on the title defense, acknowledging the Usos' 15-year anniversary.
Yeah, but that didn't last long, did it? His tone shifted pretty quickly, started criticizing Jey for focusing too much on helping his friends, saying that's not what a champion does.
Contrasted it with his own reign, that singular focus he had, and basically said, I'm winning that title back after Money in the Bank.
Classic Gunther. It sets up that philosophical clash. Jey believes you can be loyal and be champ. Gunther believes it's a weakness.
Jey fired back, said he can do both, care for his friends and fight for himself. Said he beat Gunther once, he'll do it again. The tension's definitely building for that eventual rematch.
Oh, yeah. High stakes whenever those two are near each other.
Okay, so that led to the match set up earlier. Kairi Sane versus Liv Morgan. Raquel was ringside for Liv.
And Kairi Sane actually got the win. Pinfall, roll-up. But finish was messy.
Very messy. Roxanne Perez came down, seemed like she was trying to help Liv. But Raquel Rodriguez got really upset about Perez interfering.
Right, Raquel started arguing with Perez on the apron. That whole commotion distracted Liv.
And Kairi capitalized. Rolled her up for the 3 count.
So the interference backfired, arguably cost Liv the match. And it definitely creates more problems between Liv, Raquel, and now Roxanne Perez too. What is that relationship?
Good question. Seems like a very unstable alliance, if you can even call it that. Lots of individual agendas clashing there.
Definitely something to watch. That could implode spectacularly.
Then we got a video package. Rhea Ripley. Straight to the point.
Yep. Declared she's winning the Women's Money in the Bank match. Put Io Sky and Tiffany Stratton on notice.
Just Rhea being Rhea. Confident, dominant, wants all the gold. Adds another huge threat to that ladder match.
No question. Anyone holding that briefcase is dangerous, but Rhea with it, especially dangerous.
Backstage, Chad Gable was, well, he was having a night. First, he's chewing out the Creed brothers after their loss, telling Ivy Nile how to train them harder.
Then he has another run-in with the El Hijo del Vikingo, more heat building for their Worlds Collide match.
And then AJ Styles attacks him, warns Gable to stay out of his business. Poor Gable was getting it from all sides.
He's involved in so many different things right now. The Creeds, Vikingo, Styles. He's like a magnet for conflict at the moment. Makes him a really interesting character to follow.
Back to the Judgment Day clubhouse one more time. Liv Morgan's there after her loss, clearly not happy.
Yeah, the audio was a bit iffy in this segment, apparently, but the gist was Liv felt Raquel should have handled the Roxanne interference differently at ringside.
Right, blaming Raquel for the distraction, maybe. And Finn Balor, still looking amused by it all.
That dynamic is fascinating. Liv and Raquel's partnership looks shaky, and Finn seems to be almost enjoying the drama unfold. Is he stirring the pot or just observing?
Good question. Okay, then a major segment. Women's Intercontinental Champion Lyra Valkyria came out, followed by Becky Lynch.
This got intense, fast. Lyra started by saying she thought this feud was done. She was annoyed. Becky got a rematch at Money in the Bank.
And then she made it personal. Accused Becky of acting disrespectfully after their last match. Even brought up comments supposedly made about Lyra's fiancé.
Oof. Yeah, that really raised the temperature. Becky fired back, basically saying Lyra was only relevant because of her, because of this feud, claiming she made the title mean something again.
The back and forth was great, comparing Seth Rollins to Lyra's fiancé, Lyra getting a jab in about Becky's talent.
And then Becky dropped the bomb, the stipulation. If Becky loses at Money in the Bank,
She can never challenge for the Women's Intercontinental title again, ever. Huge stakes.
massive. Lyra accepted, but then Lyra added her own stipulation. If Becky wins, Lyra has to raise Becky's hand in the ring.
Wow. Lyra explained it as, she respects competition, she'll acknowledge if someone's better, even though she fully expects to win.
Incredible. The personal animosity, the championship, and these career-altering stipulations, that match just became absolutely must-see at Money in the Bank. It'll be the most anticipated on the card now.
Agreed. Okay, nearly main event time. Sami Zayn is heading to the ring for his qualifier, but Karrion Kross stops him backstage.
Cross doing his usual mind games. Mentioned Sammy not taking Heyman's deal, trying to get under his skin.
Sami basically brushed him off, said he'd deal with him later, but Kross got the last word in, didn't he?
Yeah, that parting shot. You'll never win a world title, Sammy. Just twisting the knife, playing on those past doubts. Classic Cross.
Psychological warfare continues. All right, main event time. Money in the Bank qualifier number 2. Seth Rollins versus Finn Balor versus Sami Zayn.
And this was just as chaotic as you'd expect from those three, plus everything surrounding Rollins now.
Rollins gets the win, pins Balor, stomp onto a steel chair. He's in the Money in the Bank match.
But the interference was constant. Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed were heavily involved, taking out Sammy, taking out Jey Uso when he tried to help Sammy.
Dominic even tried to help Balor, slid him to the chair.
But it backfired. Rollins ended up using that very chair for the stomp on Balor to get the win.
It's just total chaos. Rollins used his numbers, used the weapon, did whatever it took. Controversial win, but he got the job done. His faction proved effective.
But the night wasn't over. Not by a long shot.
No, sir. Rollins is celebrating his cruise in the ring, and then Cult of Personality hits.
CM Punk's music. The place went insane. Heyman, Breaker, Reed all rushed to the stage, looking for him there.
But he wasn't there. He came from behind, slid into the ring. GTS. Go to sleep on Seth Rollins.
Unbelievable. The pop was massive.
Punk hit the GTS, then immediately bailed, slipped back into the crowd, just stood there staring down Rollins and his stunned faction in the ring as the show went off the air.
A return. Completely unexpected, targeting Rollins immediately. That changes everything heading into Money in the Bank and beyond. Just, wow.
Incredible. Okay, let's try and catch our breath and recap this insane episode of Raw for Ripperly. So, key takeaways. Seth Rollins, Penta, they're in Money in the Bank. The New Day kept their tag titles.
Liv Morgan and Kairi San's issue got personal and messy. Jey Uso and Gunther are still in a collision course. Lyra Valkyria and Becky Lynch set unbelievable stakes for their title match.
And the massive one. CM Punk is back, and he went straight for Seth Rollins.
Whew. Yeah. So hopefully this deep dive gave you the essentials, got you caught up on all the major moves without needing the full 3 hours.
We hope so. So, final thought for you to chew on. With Punk back, throwing a wrench into everything, and Rollins building this powerhouse faction, what do you think the biggest power shift will be leading into Money in the Bank? Let us know.
Yeah, definitely curious to hear theories on that one. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive.
This has been Ripperly. We aimed for about 30 minutes today. Hope you enjoyed digging into Raw with us. And hey, don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment.
Ripperly. Catch you next time.